Hey guys, welcome back to the game. I've been flying around a bit and I found this really great spot here for a port city. So I'm going to build one. Okay, so I found this really neat area just here. It's got some nice sheltered bays over here. It's got this little cove in here where you might find a shipyard. And it's got more sheltered spaces over here and a bit of forestry. It's the perfect little kind of island that you might find a shipyard and a small town sort of naturally building up, sort of maybe a pirate town at one point or whatever. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put together some small huts and some trading port, maybe put a wharf out, some boats, that kind of thing. Let's have a go at that. Okay, I'm going to start down here, which is where I think somebody might first come and sort of stop and set up a bit of a port. Okay, let's just get down here, and I'm going to grab, let me have a look. I'm going to grab some timber. Acacia wood slabs would be a nice starting point, just happens to be what's there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is build a bit of a jetty out and a wharf along the front here. So I'm going to use the acacia blocks just because I happen to have them with me already. And I'm just going to start planting them along here at sort of a wharf level and just sort of build this dockway along. Okay. Okay, that's a start. I'm not going to go back any further because I'm not quite sure, firstly, how stable all of this is. As you can see, there is some rock underneath the sand, but there's also a bit of a hole and a mine underneath the sand as well. So that could be an interesting thing to let loose. I'll extend the wharf along a bit further. I'm not going to go back up into the town, though. And there we go, that's a good starting point anyway. And as you can see, I've already placed one boat down here. I'll just drop a couple more in, just so I get a feel of where it's going to go and how it's going to feel once it's done. There we go, drop one there. I'll just drop one over here as well, and there you go. So let's have a look at that. So you can see how this is the kind of area that would naturally suit being a sort of a port town. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here and think about how people would come into a port town like this and where they might want to start building things naturally. I'm guessing some stairs heading up the hill there's going to be a good way of doing it. I don't want to do those in timber. I'm going to go and get some stone stairs for that. So I'll just come down here. I'll look for some stone stairs. There's some cobblestone stairs. That's probably a good one to use. So I'll just quickly drop that one in here. Okay, and I'll just build a couple of staircases that head on up the hill. Now there's a couple of blocks there obviously where stairs aren't at the moment, so I'm just going to fill those in, and this just makes it follow the natural contour of the land as well. There we go. So that's one way up, and okay, I think down here maybe a small customs office or something like that would be something that might be here. Now I don't want this hole here underneath the water, obviously that just looks a bit naff, so I'll just build that up with a bit of rock. There we go, and one down there. Sweet, that looks a lot better. And I will come and build that up here as well, and dig back into the side of the bank here a wee bit, and just replace some of that with stone also. There we are. One more layer back I think, and once I get back into here we can build our nice little customs office off into the side. I'll give that a stone bank at the back. Actually, I'm going to want a little bit higher than that, aren't I? There we go. That's the basics of it. Just a very plain stone building. And I'll come and grab a door to put on here. And also I'm going to grab some glass just while I'm here to put on the window. There you go. So I'll drop in the door and I'll drop in the glass. Now, how do you know that this is a customs office? Well, that's easy done as well. I will just go back in here, decoration blocks, and you can come down and grab a sign, which is just down here somewhere. There we go. So I'll take that sign. There we go, and we can put it right there. Whoops, don't want to do that, do we? Grab the sign, place it there, and we're going to just have it saying Customs Office. There you go, now you know exactly what it is. Giving things context is a really good way of making things make sense. So there you go, that's the first bit of our port city. So looks quite neat, I think, so far. So let's carry on and create a couple more buildings and things. I've just had a quick thought about the customs building there as well, and I'm actually going to take that slab roof off because it looks a bit large. It looks like a huge forehead. So what I'm going to do is just quickly pop in there and take that off. There we go. And I'm going to replace it with stone slab roof. Sorry, an acacia slab roof. Get it right. Yeah, one of the reasons for that is I thought it would also be quite good if I built it out as a bit of a porch. So there we go. Because I also want to come down here and just build this out a bit further as well. It just sort of felt like it would be a bit more practical if there was a little bit more space out on front of that dock. So there we go. And then down onto the actual wharf. And then up over on the other side of it here, I'm just going to do a similar sort of thing. Let's go build that up there. And into there. And there we go. That just looks a lot more realistic, a lot more practical, and makes it a usable space for whoever would be inhabiting this place. So I'm also going to pop down here underwater and just grab a little bit of, so this can be a little bit tricky here, because I want to build that up so that I've got a bit of a pillar. There we go. So there's something there for that to stand on as well. Once again, just makes it a bit more realistic. And I'll bring that out a bit further down this way. There you go. And that just looks more the piece. Starting to grow up. Now, the way I'm sort of planning out how this is working and how it's starting to look is I'm thinking about what I would do as if I was coming into this place and running a business here and all of that sort of thing as well. Basically giving it a bit of a backstory in my own head. So I'm thinking about, well, if I was sort of a trader coming in here, what would be practical and useful to me? And if you think about your builds that kind of way and let them grow up naturally with that kind of thought process behind them, then you're going to come up with, then you're going to result in having builds and projects that look really good and practical by the time you get to them. An example here is I was just thinking that it might be practical to have a bit of a fence along the side of this. So what I'm going to do next, actually I'll just quickly build another pillar up under there. What I'm going to do next is just build a bit of a fence along here as well. So let me have a quick look at that. There we go, under decorations, and we can come down to fences. There we go. I'm going to grab I think a dark oak fence. That would just look quite cool along there. I'll just slot that in there. And if I build that dark oak fence along the front here, it's just something practical that might naturally be built along the waterfront. I'm not entirely sure if that's absolutely accurate at the moment, but it looks quite cool, and I'll leave it there for now. Because I'm just sort of thinking about this operationally as well as, you know, do people want to access the waterway from there? No, I don't think so. I think that's where trading might occur up here, and then they'd walk down onto the actual wharf front here to get to the boats. So, yeah, I think that's a good practical kind of look to it. What I'm going to do now is sort of build a bit of a warehouse type building that I think might naturally occur over here after I've put another one of these slabs down to fill that up. I'm just going to put this in here. There we go. And I'm going to build it back into the bank a bit. Okay, there you go. I've excavated a space for where I'm going to put my warehouse building. This, of course, is where people who are bringing boats in are going to store their wares. So I'm going to build that up out of materials that would be naturally acquired locally. So let's go have a look in here. And I think grabbing sandstone blocks, there you go, smooth sandstone would be a good material for doing this with. There we are. So I'm just going to grab some of that and put it there. And also we want some timber as well for that. And I'm going to use a different timber to what I've used on the other stuff. So I want something maybe a bit lighter. Let's go for the birch there. Okie doke. I'm going to want some windows by the time I've gotten this done. And of course I'm going to want a door as well. So I'll come and grab a door. I am going to want to put a sign on here. So let's grab the sign. That's a decorative one. What else am I going to want in here? We're going to want some chests. So I'll grab some chests. And I might grab some mossy stone work or something like that as well, just as a breakout colour. Let me have a look what we've got here for a starting point, and I'll just keep that acacia wood there as well. Actually, I might grab the birch wood slab instead in its place. There we go. So that's a good set of materials for me for doing this build. Now, as before, this is a set of tools that I want for doing a particular job, so I'm going to save that in slot 3 of my toolbars by holding down the C key and tapping 3. So now whenever I want that again, I can just go X3 to bring that tool set up. Okay, well, I'll start with the sandstone blocks, and I'm just going to plant around here. I'm going to put a double door on the front there because it is a warehouse. Actually, I think on the corners is where I might use the other stone blocks, the mossy stone bricks. There we go. If I put those there, that could look quite cool. There we go. So I can use those there and then use the sandstone in the middle. And that just sort of gives the building a bit of a border. And along the top, there we go. So if we could just come out to sea a bit, we can see how that looks. That kind of stands out quite nicely, in fact. So I will just drop a window in each corner as well, just while we're here. And I'm just thinking I might actually excavate this out a little bit further and sort of head along the coast a bit more with it. It's going to need to be a slightly larger building, I think, to be realistic and to be fit for purpose. So what I'll do now is I'll just quickly knock some more of this out, and I'll go do the rest of the walls and things for it. And there we go, we've got our basic warehouse. I've still got to put a roof on it, which I'll just do here with the birchwood slab. There we go. Now we've got two rather neat buildings already in town. The obviously the Port Authority there, that's going to be sort of the logical sort of thing when you get something like this, you know, some sort of authority to set up and govern what's happening in the place. And then your next thing is some sort of storage facility, you know, where people are going to store things and do trade from. So a warehouse and a customs building would be the two logical first sorts of things that you'd see appear somewhere like here. So I think we've done a pretty good job so far of getting those buildings established and having a really good think about what the story of the development of this location would actually be. So I'm just going to clear up some more of this along here, just sort of thinking practically again. You know, if we've got this space, then the people who live here are going to come along and build along here and keep the dock coming out to the edge of the building. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about when I'm talking about creating a story and thinking about a natural progression of how the area develops. So just pull this one up along here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go grab some sand because I just want to go and fill in underneath there again with what's already there. So I'll just grab that sand block there and just drop that in at the end for now. And what I'm going to do is the sand you can just use to fill in the top block, and it will automatically fill down to fill lower space. So it's actually a very quick building up material for things. You can also use sand just for filling up spaces very quickly if you need to, and then build up on top of it. As you can see there, how that works. There we go. And it's really good for stopping water from flowing into places where you really don't want it and things like that as well. So there you go. That's that sort of built up a bit. Last thing I'll do here is same as we did just before, and just put a couple of extra bits underneath there so it looks like that's piled up. And I'll do the same thing here and just here, I think. There we go. That just sort of gives it the look of, you know, being a kind of deliberate in how it would actually be constructed and built. So it basically just looks a little bit better and looks kind of realistic. There we go. Okay, the next bit we've got to do, I think, is just have a thought about what the next sort of buildings are. Now you've got these two workplaces. Obviously you're going to want somewhere for whoever's here to go and live. So how about I just pop up here a wee bit and just sort of, let me have a look over here. I'm just going to build a bit of a house. Nothing particularly special, just a nice simple dwelling. There we go. And I'm going to do something slightly different for the roof on this one. There's all sorts of different things you can do for roofs in Minecraft, and I'm just going to explore a few of them through these videos and just look at different styles for different areas and different towns that we build. The cabin in the woods we did recently, of course, was quite a heavy pitch roof, quite a high pitch roof. Very steep, and that was just using the stairs. This one here, I'm just going to do it entirely using the concrete slabs. But not the flat patch roof like we've done just down below there, which of course you'd never do in real life because it won't pass water off. Though they were used historically quite a lot, but they did leak like you wouldn't believe. So along here what I can do is a sort of a shallow pitch roof, so it's not flat but it's not the extreme 45-degree pitch that you get with the just using the stairs for it. This way you just create a layer up of the wood slabs like this. There we go. The second layer will always just come across like that, and that will become your ceiling as well. And then on top of that, of course, the next layer. And then I just put one in the corner there to put that on, and then able to build that out. And there we go. So that's a shallow pitch roof. Quite nice looking. I've got a single doorway there I'm going to put some stairs up to in a second. I'm just going to go knock a couple of window holes in here. Along here as well. And then I'll put one in over here. So there we go, some window holes. I'll just fill them up with glass. Now you may have noticed it's a slightly taller than usual building. I put an extra bit down the bottom. And the reason for this, instead of it being a ground level floor, I'm going to put a raised floor in it and some stairs. So I'll just go and grab the stairs. I'm going to grab the cobblestone stairs again as well. The reason I'm going to use the cobblestone stairs is that they're kind of a rustic feel to them. And this is really an early settler kind of house. It's people that have just turned up here and only just started doing a build. So I'll put that one there. And then inside the house I'm going to put the floors down, and I'm going to use the, no, not the mossy stone bricks. I'll get something tidier for inside. Polished andesite, possibly make a good floor. Let's try that one out, see what it looks like. If it doesn't look good, I'll drop it and do something else. Great thing about Minecraft, you can just keep trying things out. If you don't like them, don't have to keep them. There we go. And there we go, that's a rather nice little place for somebody who lives around here to be able to get to, and then just wander down the stairs to work. And there you go, there's the customs office. And of course over here the warehouse. Warehouse obviously needs a sign on the front as well, which I did grab before but then I got rid of. Silly me, I will just go and grab that back. Here we go. There's our sign is there. So I will just plant the sign there and type public warehouse. So that's just somewhere that anybody can use to store whatever it is that they're bringing into the port. There we go. Storage bins. And I'll just go and grab some more oak fence and just tidy that up along the front there. And we'll just use that to continue that bit of oak fencing along the front, just for consistency, and that it looks pretty good anyway. So there we go, that's a set, 3 buildings put together on our port city. I think that's pretty good for part 1 of this. So I will leave it there. Please, if you have enjoyed this, go and click the subscribe button and the like button and all of that sort of thing. Let me know what you think I should add to this port city. Hopefully that will be before I've actually finished making it all. And we'll get back and we'll do some more of these buildings. We'll think about the things that would naturally start recurring in a place like this and start building them in as well, so that we can have a really nice, really well developed place that's got a real story and meaning behind it. Okay, thanks for watching. Do come back tomorrow and have a look and join in and see what we're doing with the next bit of this. See you later.